Alright, if you're into survival and open world games, 2025 is looking pretty awesome! From crafting and hunting to facing off with creatures in the environment, it's gonna keep you on your toes. Each game has its own twist on survival, so you'll always be figuring out your next move. So, without further ado, let's check out some of the coolest survival games dropping in 2025. We Harvest Shadows. We Harvest Shadows really stuck with me after playing the demo. I keep thinking about it and I kinda wish I could experience it for the first time all over again. It's a first-person open-world horror farming sim with a super emotional story. You play as Garrett, who moves to a secluded farm trying to escape from everything. Each day you're completing farm tasks and exploring, but as night falls, things get creepy. The farm's haunted and there are some nasty things lurking in the shadows. You spend your days gathering resources, chopping trees, and working on the farm, and the tasks are simple but satisfying. The horror side of things is done really well, mixing the atmosphere, sound, and tension to keep you on edge. Outbreak Island. Outbreak Island is an open-world survival horror game set on a creepy remote island. You play as Howard Chapman, a detective who's trying to figure out what caused the outbreak that turned most of the island's population into zombies. The island's isolated, with strange green storms and all sorts of eerie stuff going on. The gameplay is all about survival. You'll need to gather resources, craft items, and build a safe place to survive the zombie hordes. There's a huge world to explore, including creepy underground labs, and you'll have to fight or sneak past zombies and other threats. What makes the game stand out is the detective angle. You'll gather clues and use a camera to document the weird happenings around the island. Aloft. Aloft takes the survival crafting genre to new heights. Literally, you'll captain your own flying island base in a serene, sky-high sandbox full of creative possibilities. From building wind-powered contraptions and gliding across floating landscapes to steering your entire island like a ship, Aloft offers a fresh take on survival with a backdrop of majestic floating worlds. You'll get to craft everything from treehouse-style bases to intricate windmills, automate your sky journey, and even battle fungal foes disrupting the ecosystem. Weather plays a key role too. Fly into storms to boost windmill power, fill water reserves, or even harness lightning for powerful tools. The co-op demo, now available on Steam, adds multiplayer fun and introduces new updates like improved visuals and UI. Hey, if you're enjoying this video and want to see more like it, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps out the channel and lets me know you want more content like this. Alright, back to the video. Rooted. Rooted is a post-apocalyptic survival game set about a century after a bacteriological war left the world in ruins. Nature's slowly taking over, but cities, they're still packed with dangers like strange steel creatures, wild animals, and who knows what else. The gameplay is all about exploring the dangerous open world, scavenging resources, and crafting gear to keep yourself alive. You can set up a base, but don't expect to stay put. This game keeps you moving and adapting. Crafting is pretty handy, letting you turn scraps into survival tools or even equipment to brave contaminated areas. And while combat isn't the focus, it's there if you need it, especially in co-op mode, where friendly fire means teamwork is everything. Across the Wonderlands. Across the Wonderlands is a delightfully bizarre survival crafting adventure. You'll explore a wacky world of floating islands, magical briefcases, and an inventory full of things that are either edible, throwable, or smashable. Yes, even cupcakes. The game invites you to experiment with crafting in the most fun and chaotic way possible. Forget traditional crafting stations and recipes. Here, you can combine materials on the fly to create hilarious projectiles or boost your stats. You could even turn your magical brief base into a cozy home and crafting hub where you can take a break from all the madness. Combat is just as wild. With food-based weapons like mushroom maces and honey-filled slingshots to battle quirky enemies, the gameplay is a mix of strategic chaos and absurd fun. Spicy attacks make monsters angry, sugary ones leave them stunned. Dune Awakening. Dune Awakening offers a blend of survival mechanics and MMO elements set in the harsh deserts of Arrakis. The game spins an alternate version of the Dune universe where Paul Atreides doesn't exist, leading to a massive war of assassins between factions like the Harkonnens and Atreides. You'll get to pick a side, take on missions, and climb the ranks in this unpredictable world. Survival feels very Dune. You'll gather resources, dodge massive sandworms, and explore wreckages scattered across the desert. The real draw though is the Deep Desert, a massive 450-kilometer battleground where hundreds of players fight for control of spice and resources. The best part? Weekly storms reset the area, so things never get too stale or dominated by a few top players. Ruins to Fortress. Ruins to Fortress is an indie game set in a post-apocalyptic world where you explore a dangerous island and try to survive. You'll gather resources, craft items, and build your own fortress to stay safe. Plus, you can tear down enemy bases, making both defense and offense pretty important. Surviving isn't just about managing your base. You'll have to deal with environmental challenges and fight off other players. You can even use nuclear weapons against rivals if you're feeling bold. The island's full of things to explore, with new resources and threats to discover. The game will release in early access on December 13th, 2024, and the best part, it'll be free. Under a Rock. Under a Rock is a colorful open-world survival crafting game set on a procedurally generating island filled with dangerous wildlife, mysterious creatures, and unpredictable hazards. Each playthrough feels fresh since the island changes every time you start. You can tackle it solo or team up with up to 10 friends to gather resources, build bases, and see how long you can survive. What makes this game stand out are the creative ways to get around. Think gliding, grappling, climbing, swimming, and even riding tamed creatures like dodos and bees. Nights are no joke though, with unpredictable creatures roaming around, so you'll need to be on your toes. The base building system is also pretty cool, letting you plan ahead with ghost building or save blueprints to quickly rebuild if disaster strikes. Renown. Renown is a medieval multiplayer survival game where you start with nothing and work your way up to building your own territory. It's all about PvP combat, resource gathering, and creating your kingdom in a dynamic, ever-changing world. The game focuses on skill-based fighting, so mastering your combat techniques is key to survival. What makes Renown stand out is its unique morality system tied to your renown, influence how you interact with others. You can go at it alone, team up with others to form clans, build bases, and even wage epic sieges. It's got that Rust-style vibe, but with a medieval twist, blending survival mechanics with deep social interactions. Tree of Life 2 Oddria. Tree of Life 2 Oddria is a colorful survival MMO that builds on the first Tree of Life, offering players an open world full of challenges and opportunities. You'll gather resources, craft tools, and build up your village while managing health, hunger, and stamina. The game's vibrant environment is packed with unique biomes to explore, rare materials to collect, and wildlife to encounter. What makes Oddria stand out is its emphasis on teamwork and community. You can form alliances, trade resources, and collaborate to build thriving villages. The economy plays a big role too. Trading helps you get better gear and progress faster. Plus, upgrading your Tree of Life hub adds a strategic layer to the mix. Terminator Survivors. Terminator Survivors is bringing the fight against Skynet to life in a survival game that's all about scavenging, building, and outsmarting deadly machines, and sometimes other humans. Set in 2009, right after Judgment Day, it explores the early days of John Connor's resistance with an original story that ties into the first two movies. You'll be surviving in an open world where you can either team up with friends and co-op or go at it alone. There's base building, resource management, and plenty of stealth and combat as you take on Skynet's forces and figure out how to keep your base running. The game was originally set to release in late 2024, but got pushed to 2025 so the devs could polish everything up. Lost Skies. Lost Skies is an upcoming co-op survival adventure set in a stunning world of floating islands high above the clouds. Developed by Bossa Games, it's all about exploring ancient ruins, crafting skyships, and taking on massive skyborne creatures. The game's open world is packed with hidden caverns and remnants of a lost civilization, and you'll get around with tools like grappling hooks, gliders, and climbing gear. A big highlight is the customizable shipbuilding system, where you can design your own skyships, balancing materials and performance to create the ultimate airborne fortress. Survival mechanics include resource gathering, crafting advanced tech, and navigating environmental hazards, all while battling wildlife and massive sky bosses. Crashlands 2. Crashlands 2 is on its way, almost 8 years after the original. Just like before, it's about an interstellar truck driver crash landing on an alien planet. But this time, it's bigger, deeper, and more handcrafted. Instead of procedural generation, the world is fully designed by the developers, offering more explorations, richer character interactions, and a world that feels alive, complete with creatures and planets that react dynamically. Crafting is still a core part of the experience, but now you can make friends with NPCs, learn crafting tips from them, or even invite them to hang out. For those interested in bonding, there's still plenty of combat and chaos to dive into. The game's humor and quirky tone remain intact, but the sequel promises a much more polished and expansive experience. Streets of Rogue 2. Streets of Rogue 2 is an upcoming RPG sandbox game that takes everything from the first game and cranks it up a notch. You're trying to take down a corrupt president, and to do that, you can pick from a bunch of fun character classes like Soldier, Thief, Guerrilla, Cutlass, or even Chef. Each one plays differently, so you can go full-on combat, sneak around, hack stuff, or just talk your way through things. The game world is massive, way bigger than the first one, thanks to procedural generation. That means every playthrough feels fresh, with new cities and regions to explore. You can also do a lot more than just fight. Farm, build stuff, drive cars, and mess around with NPCs. Whether you're playing solo or with friends, there's tons to do. Jump Ship. Jump Ship sounds like a blast if you love co-op games with a chaotic edge. You and up to 3 friends crew a spaceship together, taking on roles like piloting, managing systems, firing weapons, and even doing spacewalks. The cool part? You can seamlessly switch between flying your ship and hopping out for an on-foot mission on planets, or just walking around the ship's hull like a total sci-fi badass. The missions sound pretty varied, with everything from space battles to raiding freighters or fighting robots on alien worlds. Plus, there's an AI director that helps keep things fresh by tweaking encounters based on how your crew's doing. You'll also need to scavenge parts to repair and upgrade your ship, so there's a bit of strategy and resource management mixed in with all the action. Alright everyone, that wraps up our look at some upcoming titles from 2024. I hope you found this video helpful. Be sure to leave a comment below if any of these games caught your eye, or if there are other upcoming releases you'd like to hear about. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking and subscribing for more gaming content in the future. Thanks for watching.